Welcome back to the Limestone Carving Workshop. Today we are making a giant piece of bath stone into a lovely piece of cornice, but it's a return. Come along and join me for the ride. So this is a multiple day job. I've got to, well, it's Christmas Eve and there's a few things I need to sort out. So I'm not going to be on it all day today, but it's a lovely job. Here's the drawings for it. Bing! The whole job is a sample panel, but it's a very large sample panel. It's a sample panel which is going to be built so the client can have a look at it, see whether they're happy with it. This building is going to be made out of brick and bath stone. Bath stone's different from working, you know, normal stuff like other stones because it's a soft stone. I'm not really geared up for working bath stone, if I'm honest. There'll probably be a lot of people that will watch this that do know how to work soft stones, and they'll be like, where are your French drags and English drags and all the other kind of tools that you need for using soft stone? I've never invested in them because it's so rare that I ever work any bath stone that I've just never owned any. It is unseasonably warm. It's very warm. Considering it's December the 24th today, it's very warm indeed. I'm not even wearing a flipping jumper. Anyway, so when you're working a massive job like this, I've already marked it up, but I didn't end up starting it the other day because I had something else that was more pressing. But as you can see, here's the profile marked on, and then it goes along this way, and then it returns down here. So I haven't applied the section on the back yet. That needs to be done. But when you're working a massive stone like this, you need to think about all the logistics about how you're going to work it before you actually start working on it. Because obviously turning a big stone like this is not just as simple as like grabbing it and turning it over. Even if there was two blokes, even if I had someone else working in the workshop with me, this is a massive piece of stone. I'm not sure exactly how heavy it is. I could work it out. In fact, I will work it out and I'll just put it up here on the screen right there. That's how heavy it is. So you can't just pick it up and turn it over really easily. Something to take into consideration with this is the fact that it's only sat on 150 mil on the bottom, which is kind of an issue because it means that when I put it on the pallet in order to travel, I'm not going to be able to put it upright. Because this is something else you have to think about if you're doing work for people and you're making stuff for guys on site. When you put it on a pallet with these big stones, ideally you want to send them in the right orientation so they don't have to turn them on site, because that's when snips happen and you end up, you know, with corners coming off and all that kind of stuff. So we don't really want that to happen. So in an ideal world, you want to palletize it and have it so they can literally just put some straps under it, pick it up and plonk it where it needs to go. But this isn't going to happen with this because this is going to be so front heavy that it's just going to want to fall forwards. So I think I'm going to have to transport it on its two back edges. That'll make more sense as the video goes on. Like I say, it's important to start, it's important when you do a big job like this to plan it out from start to finish so you're not turning it unnecessary amounts of time, because every time you turn it, there's high risk and high probability that you will end up damaging it. Plus, it's just a faff to turn it. Some bourgeois, I'll get these out of the way. I have a bit of a tidy up in here because it's a bit of a mess from yesterday. And we'll get cracking. alignment's done. The plan is this is a little rebate that's coming out the back because it's L-shaped, right? So this is coming out all the way through. But when I'm going to work this out last, probably the back here. But because it's not going to be orientated this way at any other point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cut in to the line just with a 5-inch. So one, it relieves that line, but two, it also means that I can cut to the line without being able to see it, because the edge is already, the arrows has already been created, so I can just then cut the rest of it up to that cut. That might make a little bit more sense later on, further we get, but it's a preemptive thing to do now, whilst I have the stone up this way and I can see that line. I'll put a cut in, and then it will give me a datum to work to later on down the line. Right, now we're on with the big turn. Well, that's kind of annoying. I just filmed the whole thing, but it didn't actually film. Oh well, it's not like we're not gonna have to turn it again. But yeah, so I've got it upright this way now. I've got it on skids. You can see I put where I turned it, the forks went up against here, but I made sure that where the forks were placed were in a section that was going to get taken out anyway. So that doesn't matter, which is good. I've got it on these skids. There's another one under there, which means now that I've got enough clearance so I can just slip some straps under it. I can pick it up off of this pallet, because this is a quarry pallet that's horrible, and I'm going to plonk it on my banker pallet, and then we'll take it back in and start working the straight through. common tool when you're using working with soft stone is an English drag. I don't have an English drag, but I do have a tenon saw that I've cut. It's essentially this. An English drag is like this. You can get tungsten tip ones, which are really nice, but I don't have an English drag because I don't really work with soft stones a lot. A dragged finish is like a surface finish that you do have with soft stones, and you can use a drag to cut in your arises, and you can use it to flatten off surfaces and finish surfaces off. This whole stone is just going to be rubbed up to a 60 grit with a carbo, or a 60 grit flexi pad on a grinder, so it's not a dragged finish, but yeah, I'll show you how to use it. So use an English drag by basically using the flat of the drag in order to flatten off lumps and bumps within a molding. So I kind of, like I say, I'm by no means the guy to talk to about this really. I'm just kind of, this is the way that I've used an English drag. You basically use it like on a diagonal and then come the other way, so kind of almost cross hatch it. And what that'll do is it will just take the high spots off, straighten it out. See, look, I'll show you. This is a dragged finish. Right, so I'm not using this to finish it as a dragged finish. I'm just using the drag in order to flatten off this cavetto because it's a lot quicker than spending ages using chisels on it. Like I said, it's within about a minute and a half as it is before I've even picked up the drag. So this is what I've said before as well, like rubbing up is not a way to make something straight. Rubbing up is just removing tool marks. A lot of people get something relatively close and then they just use a carver under, which is, you know, this green stuff. They use one of these, which you can mold to whatever shape you need, in order to make the molding straight. The carver under is literally just there to take the tool marks out. It's not a method of making something flat. And there we go. So now I've dragged that so it's nice and straight. I'm just gonna get the carver on it, clean it, give it a bit of a rub, and job's a good one. So yeah, I don't have a French drag that I can show you. I'll stick an image up here. Here you go. This is what a French drag looks like. It looks like that. And essentially what it is it's like the stone equivalent of a wood plane. You know, you drag it backwards and forwards like you would a wood plane, and it abrasively scrapes away the material with the little steel combs that are inside, you know, that are mounted along the plane, not the plane, along the drag. Yeah. Anyway, I think I've waffled on a little bit too long about soft stone because I'm just trying to make up for the fact that I actually really don't know what I'm doing when I'm working soft stone. Right, that'll do for today. I'll come back after Christmas because it's Christmas tomorrow. I know this is going to come out way after Christmas because my editing / uploading schedule is absolutely terrible. But yeah, I'm going to go enjoy my Christmas. I'm going to come back on the 27th and I'm going to get this finished. So, like I've said before, with the magic of video editing, it's now the 27th of December. Hello, it's the morning of the 27th. It's a lovely day. I've just had an English breakfast with the family. And now we've got to crack on with this thing. I've already explained what we're doing today, I think. I've got to put that on its end and then work the return and then cut the back out and get it on a pallet. So that's that OG done. Lovely jubbly. Everything needs a little bit of a rubbing up, but other than that, all we've got left to do is this. So it's looking pretty good, quite happy. We haven't lost any corners yet, which is very easy to do with this soft stone, I tell you. Really easy to do. It's really quite unforgiving bath stone, so you've got to be really careful with everything that you're doing, because even if you know, just drop a chisel on an arrow or something, bing, it's gone. Right then, so now we've just got to cut this back out here, give it a turn, give it a wash, give it a cheeky little wash off, and get it palletized. Then its job's a frigging good one. I mean, it's looking pretty sick, I think. It's quite a nice big chunky bit of moulding. There's no drip mould on it, which isn't ideal. In a perfect world, I mean, I'm not in charge of designing the job is designed by an architect. Then it gets drawn up by a CAD guy, so the design is not down to me. I just get given the drawings, I get given the stone, and I have to make the stuff to within a millimetre of the drawings. That's kind of my specs. But normally with a cornice mould, you would have a drip, so you'd probably have another fillet here, and then it would go like that. And then what that does is that means that when it's obviously turned the other way around, the water will run down the weathering here, it'll run down this moulding, and then it'll drip off here rather than flowing down and then going down the wall. I don't know whether this is literally just a sample piece for a sample panel that's being built, so it's not actually for building this. This is just so the client can have a look at it and see whether they're happy or not with the job. If they are happy with the job, ace. Hopefully we'll get loads of more of it to make. And that might be why there's no drip mold that's been put on it. But I guess that's nothing to do with me. Either way, let's get the back cut out, we'll get it turned, we'll get it palletized, I'll take some nice shots of it, and then I'm gonna go home. Beginning of the video, I was explaining when I put that relief cut in for the back when it was flipped up the other way. This is the result. So basically I put that one cut in here, which gives me my bottom arris already, which just makes it a lot easier. I don't have to square from the top, which would be really not that great because it's only a small surface. So essentially what that's done is that's allowed me to see my line from the underside, or see the line that is on that side, but I can see it from the face here. So now all I got to do is work between that top point there and that draft there. So it's things like that which are always good when you're working a massive stone to take into consideration, because the reality is that you don't want to be turning this stone over and over again. So unfortunately, the hose pipe that I used to wash off my stones is actually in someone else's unit, and I can't find my keys for it, and it is the 27th of December, and no one's going to be back until the new year. So I'm going to have to leave it until the new year in order to show you the finished product. But for you, that will be just the click of a finger. But if you could like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, share to anyone who you think might be interested in this bank of masonry and stone carving content that I'm creating. I'm just trying to do it really to educate and to just entertain and show people what it's like in a bank shop such as my own. But yeah, I would thoroughly appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.